Imagine walking into a Ferrari dealership after years of dreaming about owning one of the world's most iconic sports cars. You've worked hard, you've saved enough money, and today you're finally ready to buy your dream Ferrari. You walk into the showroom, choose the exact model you want, and tell the salesperson you're ready to complete the purchase. But instead of congratulating you, they politely tell you something completely unexpected. I'm sorry, we can't sell you this car. Not because you can't afford it, not because it's sold out, but because Ferrari has decided that you're not the right customer. It sounds unbelievable. In a world where companies spend billions trying to attract more customers and sell more products, Ferrari has built one of the strongest luxury brands on the planet by doing exactly the opposite. They intentionally build fewer cars than people want to buy. They rarely offer discounts, and in some cases, they even decide who gets to own one. At first, it sounds like terrible business, but this strategy has made Ferrari one of the most profitable car companies in the world. So why would any company willingly sell less when it could earn so much more? To understand that, we have to go back to the very beginning.
Every legendary brand begins with an obsession. For Ferrari, that obsession wasn't luxury, it wasn't exclusivity, and it certainly wasn't making road cars for wealthy customers. It was racing. Long before the Prancing Horse became a global symbol of wealth and status, there was a young Italian named Enzo Ferrari, completely captivated by speed. As a child, he watched motor races with his father, and from that moment, he knew exactly what he wanted his life to revolve around. Cars weren't simply machines to him. They were expressions of engineering, competition, and ambition.
In the 1920s, Enzo joined Alfa Romeo as a racing driver before eventually managing their racing division. While he enjoyed racing, he discovered that his true talent wasn't behind the steering wheel. It was building teams, developing machines, and pushing them to win. In 1929, he founded Scuderia Ferrari, a racing team created to support talented drivers competing in Alfa Romeo cars. At the time, Ferrari wasn't a car manufacturer at all. It was simply a racing organization, driven by one man's relentless pursuit of victory. For years, Enzo focused on one thing: winning races. But history had other plans. After leaving Alfa Romeo, Enzo was forced to wait several years before he could build cars under his own name.
In 1947, Ferrari introduced its very first road car, the 125S. It wasn't created because Enzo dreamed of becoming a luxury car manufacturer. He built road cars for one reason: to finance his racing team. Every Ferrari sold helped keep the racing program alive. Every customer became part of a much bigger mission: funding the pursuit of victory on the track. Without realizing it, Enzo Ferrari had planted the seed of something extraordinary. A company where racing came first, profits came second, and exclusivity became inevitable. And that philosophy would eventually transform Ferrari into one of the most powerful luxury brands the world has ever seen.
The foundation had been laid. Now Ferrari had to prove itself where it mattered most: on the racetrack. For Enzo Ferrari, building cars was never enough. The true measure of success could only be found in victory. And in the years that followed, Ferrari began chasing it with relentless determination. Across Italy, the Prancing Horse started appearing on racetracks with increasing frequency. Each event was an opportunity, a chance to test new ideas.
push engineering to its limits and prove that Ferrari belonged among the very best. Victories didn't come easily. Every race demanded precision, endurance, and courage. But with every podium finish, the Ferrari name grew stronger. Drivers wanted to race for Ferrari. Fans gathered to witness Ferrari. And rivals began paying close attention. What had started as a small racing operation was quickly becoming a serious force in motorsport. Yet for Enzo, success was never something to celebrate for long. The moment one race ended, his attention shifted to the next challenge. Because in his mind, Ferrari's greatest victory was always the one that hadn't happened yet.
For Enzo Ferrari, winning was never a destination. It was a never-ending pursuit. Every victory brought prestige, but it also brought expectations. And those expectations only pushed Ferrari to work harder. The company lived and breathed competition. Days were spent designing faster machines. Nights were spent searching for advantages. Every detail mattered. Every second counted. And every race carried the weight of Ferrari's growing reputation. As the years passed, Ferrari became one of the most respected names in motorsport. But respect alone wasn't enough. Enzo wanted dominance. He wanted Ferrari to be the benchmark against which every competitor would be measured. That ambition fueled innovation. More powerful engines, better aerodynamics, relentless experimentation. Ferrari was no longer simply participating in races. It was helping redefine what racing could be. Yet behind the victories was an unforgiving reality. Success demanded sacrifice. The pressure to perform never disappeared. The expectations never faded. And the pursuit of perfection never truly ended. But despite the challenges, Ferrari continued moving forward. Because for Enzo Ferrari, standing still was never an option. So did its reputation. What had once been a small Italian racing operation was becoming something far more significant. Around the world, the Prancing Horse began to stand for more than speed. It became a symbol of excellence, a symbol of ambition, and a symbol of success. Owning a Ferrari was no longer just about driving a car. It was about becoming part of a story built on passion, competition, and an unwavering commitment to performance. Yet, despite the growing demand, Ferrari refused to chase volume. Exclusivity remained part of its identity. Cars were built with purpose, not simply to satisfy the market, but to preserve the spirit that had created the company in the first place. That decision would shape Ferrari for generations. Because while other manufacturers focused on producing more cars, Ferrari focused on building better ones. The result was a brand unlike any other. A company respected on the racetrack, admired on the road, and recognized across the world. By the end of the 20th century, Ferrari had become more than an automotive manufacturer. It had become a cultural icon, a name capable of inspiring emotion long before an engine was ever started. And through it all, the philosophy remained unchanged. Racing came first. Everything else followed. A simple belief that transformed Ferrari into one of the most recognizable and influential brands in history. But philosophy alone wasn't enough. To prove its ideals, Ferrari needed machines capable of turning ambition into reality. The road cars that followed weren't created to chase trends. They were built to carry the spirit of the racetrack beyond the circuit. Every curve, every engine, and every detail reflected the same relentless pursuit of performance that had defined Ferrari from the very beginning. What started as racing machines slowly evolved into some of the most celebrated automobiles ever created, without ever forgetting where they came from. As Ferrari's reputation grew, so did the ambition behind every new machine. Each generation wasn't simply faster than the last. It represented a new chapter in the company's relentless pursuit of perfection. Some became legends, not only because of their performance, but because they forever changed what the world believed a Ferrari could be. In 1962, Ferrari introduced a car that would come to define automotive excellence, the Ferrari 250 GTO. Built for competition, yet admired as a work of art, it combined breathtaking beauty with extraordinary performance. Decades later, it remains one of the most valuable and celebrated automobiles ever created, proving that true greatness never fades. Nearly 3 decades later, Ferrari would create another icon, the Ferrari F40. Built to celebrate Ferrari's 40th anniversary, it became the final road car personally approved by Enzo Ferrari himself. Lightweight, brutally fast, and stripped of unnecessary luxury, the F40 represented Ferrari's racing spirit in its purest form. As the automotive world entered a new era, Ferrari once again redefined what a supercar could be. In 2013, it unveiled the LaFerrari, a machine that combined breathtaking performance with Formula One hybrid technology. Every curve, every aerodynamic surface, and every engineering decision existed for one purpose: absolute performance. It wasn't built simply to be Ferrari's fastest road car. It was created to represent everything Ferrari had learned over more than 6 decades of racing, innovation, and relentless pursuit of perfection. The LaFerrari proved that electrification could enhance performance without sacrificing emotion. But Ferrari wasn't finished. As technology continued to evolve, engineers in Maranello pushed even further, determined to redefine the limits of a road car once again. In 2019, Ferrari introduced the SF90 Stradale, its first series production plug-in hybrid supercar. It wasn't just faster, it represented the beginning of Ferrari's next generation of performance. But while Ferrari embraced the future, it never forgot its past. In 2021, the company unveiled the Daytona SP3, a breathtaking masterpiece inspired by the legendary sports prototypes that dominated endurance racing in the 1960s. It wasn't designed to chase technology alone. It was built to celebrate Ferrari's greatest victories, proving that history could still inspire the future. In 2023, after more than 50 years away from top-level endurance racing, Ferrari returned to the 24 Hours of Le Mans with the revolutionary 499P hypercar. Many questioned whether the legendary Prancing Horse could still challenge the world's best. Ferrari answered in spectacular fashion, winning Le Mans on its very first attempt and writing one of the greatest comeback stories in motorsport history. More than 7 decades after Enzo Ferrari founded the company, the spirit of competition still burned brighter than ever. By now, it would be easy to think Ferrari's story is simply about building extraordinary cars. But Ferrari has never been defined by horsepower alone. Around the world, many manufacturers can build faster, more practical, or more advanced machines. Yet when people dream of the perfect sports car, they almost always picture the Prancing Horse from Maranello. That isn't because Ferrari always builds the fastest car. It's because Ferrari has built something greater than speed. It has built emotion. Every Ferrari represents ambition, passion, sacrifice, and the pursuit of excellence. For some, owning one is the reward for years of hard work. For others, simply hearing a
Ferrari engine is enough to inspire a lifelong dream. Ferrari has never sold transportation. It has always sold the belief that extraordinary things are possible. Ferrari's greatest achievement was never building the world's fastest car. It was creating a symbol that generations of people could believe in. From the racetracks of Europe to roads across the world, the Prancing Horse became more than a badge. It became a dream shared by millions. Its legacy isn't measured only by trophies, horsepower, or speed. It is measured by the emotions people feel the moment they see, hear, or imagine a Ferrari. More than 70 years after the first road car left Maranello, Ferrari still represents courage, ambition, craftsmanship, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Because in the end, Ferrari was never simply building cars. It was building dreams. And perhaps that is Enzo Ferrari's greatest victory of all, proving that when passion refuses to accept ordinary, it doesn't just build cars, it creates legends. Every Ferrari that leaves Maranello carries more than an engine or a badge. It carries decades of passion, sacrifice, and an uncompromising pursuit of excellence. From the vision of one man, Ferrari grew into something far greater than an automotive company. It became a symbol of ambition, craftsmanship, and the courage to dream beyond ordinary. Its story lives not only in victories on the racetrack, but also in the hearts of millions who stop, admire, and dream whenever they see the Prancing Horse. The cars will continue to evolve. New generations will take the wheel, but the spirit born in Maranello will never fade. Legends are not remembered because they were perfect. They are remembered because they inspired the impossible. More than 7 decades after Enzo Ferrari began his journey, the Prancing Horse continues to ignite passion across the world. As long as there are dreamers willing to chase something extraordinary, Ferrari's story will never truly end. Because some names become history, but only a few become legends. Ferrari is one of them.